All right, so here we are back at it. I want to talk a little bit about, well, extensively about operational must-haves. So the point of this section is for you to understand what you need from an operational standpoint to be two things: effective and successful. Okay? And this is the thing. Each state they have their own requirements. So make sure you fill in any gaps here with your state requirements. This is not a list that goes state by state or country by country. Okay. But I want to give you some tools that I didn't have in the beginning and that I found out were advantageous to me being successful. So the number one, and let me give this caveat. These are not in any specific order. Okay, so you're going to hear me talk about a scheduling program. I'm not saying a scheduling program is more important than the uniform. Okay, but I'm going to go through this list. We have maybe 10 or so to cover. And you'll find various links and downloads and how to acquire these things through the download resource tab right here in this member area. So scheduling program. This is a big deal. Even if you are the only employee, paid a few bucks per month, get yourself a good subscription, a subscription to a good employee scheduling program. You should be able to find one that's GPS driven, that tracks the hours of the particular employee on property. Those types of things, so you can calculate payroll. If your hours on property or at the property are ever in question with the client, you'll have some type of mechanism in there where you can download the hours and prove to the client that your employee was on property or that you were on property. An employee scheduling program is so important. You need it for payroll purposes. You need it for tax purposes. All of those types of things. You may not be dealing with any of these things now, but I'm telling you, when you have a business that is ran off of employees, you absolutely have to have a scheduling program that is sufficient for your type of work. If you have multiple locations, make sure you get a scheduling program where you can enter in multiple locations, where you can enter in supervisors to handle specific properties or, things along those lines. Don't limit yourself. Start off right with a scheduling program. Listen, they have saved me. Okay. I've caught employees trying to steal time, trying to beat the clock. I've had to prove to a client that an employee was on property, and thank goodness I had an electronic program that documented the time. Okay, the employee or yourself, you can download it as an app. Most of them are app driven and they're ran off of GPS. Check the download section and you'll see some very good ones out there. I've used Sling, used Deputy. Those are the two that I've been working with recently. And they're great. They're great. They also handle employee communication as well. Payroll. Listen, don't get into trouble early on by doing your payroll by hand, by cutting corners, paying somebody under the table, or any of these types of things. Get yourself a payroll program. The good ones, we use QuickBooks. They aren't cheap, but they're worth it. Invest into yourself. Invest into your company. Invest into your employee and get yourself a good payroll program. Today, you might wake up and you only have 2 officers or 1 officer and you don't need it. But what happens next year when it's time to give these officers a W-2 and you don't have the proper way to print out or track a W-2? You can get yourself in trouble. You absolutely want to get yourself a solid payroll program. This is another operational must-have, okay? Now, let's go to another very important one, an officer reporting program. You want something at the, see, this is what we do. On our posts, we use an officer reporting program and we also use a hard copy binder, okay? We use both, and here's the reason why. So let's just say, let's say your digital program that you have for officer reporting isn't working, or the internet's down, or your employee's cell phone bill isn't paid. That cannot be the excuse for not being able to provide proper documentation for your client when it comes to writing reports. Okay, so that's why we go with the hard copy, and we have the digital program for storage. We have the digital program for ease of use. There are some great ones out there. Okay, take a look at Destiny Patrol. There are several out there that you'll absolutely love. All right. And I mean, all the way down to where you can take pictures through these programs. You can write up the report. Officer can write up the report. You can have that report sent directly to you for you to review, and then you forward it on to the email address of your client. Reporting programs, officer reporting programs will save you. They have saved us. All right. And let's go to a basic one. Oftentimes we start these businesses and we just use our cell phone number. No. Go to grasshopper.com and get yourself a telephone number. And here's why. First of all, you're going to want to separate your business number from your personal number. Later on, you'll see something coming from us where you can establish business credit as a company. Okay. So when you're establishing business credit, you're furthering your business, you want these numbers to be separate. And let me give you this small bonus right here. Only use one number for one business. Because when you go to acquire workers' compensation or general liability, they are going to Google you. They're going to check you out. And if you have more than one company connected to what you call a company number, your premium could go up. You could get denied. I was denied years ago because nobody ever told me this. I had one number for two companies. So when I went to pick up workers' compensation insurance, they asked me about the other company and denied me. So separate your telephone number. Go to grasshopper.com or Google business line, business telephone number. I've been using Grasshopper for 10 years. I love it. That's just me. There's a download to Grasshopper also in the download resource center as well. Okay. Get yourself a telephone number. Website. You must have a web presence. Okay. Now, you've heard me talk about ClickFunnels. Get a site. The reason why I use ClickFunnels, because it allows me to have a traditional web presence with building out a site within ClickFunnels, but it also houses my sales funnel so I can run my campaigns and all of these things. Okay. So you want to make sure you have a solid web presence in your website. You want services. You want to show what services that you're offering. You want a contact page. You want an about us page. And you also want something in there where a customer can go in and make a payment. You want to keep these things simple. Okay. So let's move on. And this is a great segue into an invoicing program. QuickBooks. QuickBooks houses our payroll. QuickBooks houses our tracking for our accounting. It does it all right in the system. Check out QuickBooks. It's on the download page as well. And it's awesome for invoicing. I mean, you can build out your client in there. You can charge the tax that you need right in there. You can set up the various products or services. You can put 10-day terms, 30-day terms, due upon receipt. A little bit of everything. Get yourself a good invoicing software. Another one that's out there that I've used as well is called Wave Apps. Wave, W-A-V-E. You'll see it has a little purple or blue logo. Free, very simple. I recommend it to a lot of the agency and company owners that I mentor. I get them set up with Wave. Wave is wonderful when you're just starting out, because it's a free program, free invoicing program. Very, very simple to use. Check it out. It's on the download page as well. Okay. Client record keeping. Important. Being that we use QuickBooks, it houses our client contact information, our client records, and we also have a backup of that information in our scheduling software as well. And we keep a hard copy in the office just in case. Employee records, that information is vital. You may be working with a nonprofit organization where you have to keep a certain amount of records. I mean, you have to have something to keep the client records intact. Okay. Another operational must-have, simple, company logo. What do you have a company logo? You want something that's distinct to your company, something that helps your company stand out. Basic company logo. StarterSecurityCompany.com, has that. You can get in touch with them and they can design a logo for you. Send us an email. We can plug you into whoever you need to plug in and have your graphics taken care of. Employee uniform. It's another operational must-have. Now, some states mandate that you have a uniform. Now, there are some instances where you'll have plain clothes, but an employee uniform that is distinct, that accommodates the property you're working is important. So let me give you an example. If you have a country club type of property, you have a contract with a country club, that might not be the best place to place an officer in a uniform that has a tactical look. You may want a blazer, slacks, and a collared shirt type of uniform. So when you're picking your employee uniform, make sure that it accommodates the properties. We have several different uniforms depending on the contract that we pick up. Okay, but that employee uniform helps your company stand out. Operational must-have. Okay, your equipment. There's certain equipment that you will want to provide to your employee. If you're an owner like myself, you want your employees to look uniform. You do what you have to do to get the duty belt and those types of things so your officers match. Is it mandatory? No. But does it give the best presence for your company? Absolutely. Because you don't want to send an officer out and he has a red duty belt or a red firearm and red handcuffs and all these other things that could look unprofessional, and it doesn't match the brand of your particular company. So providing equipment for your officers, operational must-have. The last thing, make sure you're tracking your equipment through logs. Another operational must-have, okay? And charge fees. Charge a fee for the equipment. Now, I'm saying this out of my personal opinion, but you don't want the expense of slacks and shirts and all of these other things coming out of your budget if you have employees who just refuse to take care of your equipment or take care of your uniform. Charge an equipment fee. It can be very plain. It can be very simple. If you need further information on this, shoot over a message to us. Let's see if how we can arrange to get some one-on-one time to talk further. But these are operational must-haves. Take a look in the download resource section. You'll see some more information on this stuff. If you don't know where to get it, you can find the downloads there. But operational must-haves, don't forget about them.